everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be doing a full face using the Nude by Nature summer collection. If you haven't seen last week's video, I actually hauled everything out of the collection and did like swatches and sort of gave you my first impressions on the packaging and that sort of thing. So this video is actually going to be doing a full face using all of those products that I hauled in that video. So if you haven't seen that one, I recommend that you go backwards and watch it first for all swatches and more in-depth detail. But if you're interested to see how the products actually apply and work on the face, then this is the video for you. Now, in the collection that I purchased, which was 199 Australian dollars, I think, but valued at $500, and you get the full-size products. Again, if you haven't seen the first video, I explain it all there. When you purchase the kit, you actually get a couple of options for your face. So you get a BB cream and 2 foundation options. In this video, I'm actually going to be trialing the Flawless foundation, not the powder foundation or the BB cream. I have tried the powdered foundation before and I really do enjoy it, but I have not tried their BB cream. But what I will probably do is either do a whole separate product trials on that video, or I will do a blog post review. And if I end up doing either, I will update the description box down below for you. So this video is going to be using the Flawless Finish foundation instead. Now obviously before I put that on, I'm going to try their primer. So the one that I got in the kit is this one here. It is their Airbrush Mineral Primer. That is the packaging there. And when you pull it out, it is just a simple squeezy tube. Very plain packaging, which I don't really have an issue with either way, to be honest. So it does have a little aluminium seal cap there, which is just good for hygiene purposes. Normally when I do product trials, I put my primer on my full face. I know some people, when they're doing first impressions, they only put it on half their face to see how the product performs with and without primer, but because on a daily basis I wear primer anyway, I don't really see the point of it. So I am going to prime my whole face. That is what the primer looks like. It is just a white cream. Oh, it smells natural. There's a definite scent to the primer. It's like a florally plant-based almost. It does feel very nice and hydrating on the skin though. Okay, so now that it is actually on my skin, it is quite a nice primer, like as in my skin feels really quite nice and hydrated and fresh. It is not a silicone based primer, so if you don't like silicone primers, or if you do, take note of that. But what it says on the box here is that it is a silicone free lightweight primer, skin nourishing native Australian ingredients, contains vitamin A and E, helps extend makeup wear, and that's it. So that's that. Upon first impressions, it feels really quite nice on the skin. Can't really tell you more than that at the moment. So I am going to jump straight in and apply my foundation before the eyeshadow, just because I feel like it, living on the edge. So as I mentioned a few times, this is the foundation that I'm going to be doing it on, and it is the Flawless New Liquid Foundation. I really like the packaging of this foundation. I think it is really classy and pretty, and that is it there. So you get a frosted bottle, and then you get the gold top, and you pull it off, and that's what it looks like there with a pump. The shade that I picked mine up in is N2 Classic Beige for reference. So as a part of the whole kit, I actually got a couple of brushes, and I got a natural pointed precision brush and also a buffing brush. So what I'm going to do is apply half of the foundation with one of these brushes and then the other half with one of my damp beauty sponge things, just to see how the foundation actually applies. So the description of the foundation on the back of the bottle, well, packaging, is the flawless liquid foundation instantly provides a smooth and flawless finish, but looks and feels like a second skin thanks to the natural pigments that act in seamless affinity with the complexion. The oil-free formula and fragrance-free formula is buildable from a medium to flawless coverage, is long wearing and gives the skin an even satin matte finish. So let's get on with it. So that is what the buffing brush looks like, just a flat top kabuki. It is very, very soft, so hopefully it actually applies the foundation really well. Now I don't know how much foundation I'm really going to need, so I'm just going to start off with a couple of pumps on the back of my hand and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'll do this side with the, oh, that's white, oh dear. So I'll do this side with the brush. I've definitely got too much on the back of my hand, but that's okay. So we'll just start buffing this in. I really hope this oxidizes. The brush is shedding on my face quite a bit, but it is a new brush, so sort of work out the kinks of that. Okay, so I'm eating the brush hair and it's shedding everywhere. So apart from the colour being very wrong, like very wrong, the actual foundation itself is applying quite smoothly. I would not say this is medium coverage. This is light coverage to me. Like that is not medium. I can see so much, I'm gonna come a bit closer, I can see so much of my redness still coming through, like all my skin imperfections are coming through really easy, like it has not disguised anything at all. The brush itself isn't too bad, but it is shedding a lot. So I'm going to take another layer of foundation and see if I can build it up. So instead I'm just going to put it straight onto the brush and maybe try stippling it instead. That is 2 layers of this foundation. I think it looks awful. Like it's just not sitting well on my skin at all. Again, I'm gonna come closer, but like look at it here. Try and like, what even is that? And now all of that foundation on my chin is gone. Like, I don't know how much of this is the brush and how much of it is the foundation, because like everywhere I touch the brush now, it's actually shifting the foundation away. That is not medium. That's not even BB cream, like, or CC cream. Like, okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with the blender, or sponge this time, and do roughly the same amount for the first pass. Ignore my little beard there. Cover that up. Right. So I've just got a damp beauty blender and we'll just bounce this in. it's just lifting straight off my skin. I don't understand what's happening. Like, this looks awful. This actually looks... Oh. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I've never had to try this hard with a foundation before, ever. I've never had this much trouble with a foundation. Like, look at it on my chin, it just doesn't want to stay. Okay, so I don't know if it's the primer or if it's the foundation, but I look awful. I would not leave the house with this at all, like at all. It just, and it's not even the color. The color is completely wrong, but it is not even the color that is really annoying me, because I am usually quite pale and it is oxidizing a little bit. I am usually quite pale, so I could probably get away with it by bronzing up, but just look at my face. Like, I don't even know where the foundation has gone. It's just disappeared on somewhere. It's definitely not sitting on my skin. This is definitely not full coverage. As first impression, I can hands down say this is absolutely the worst foundation I've ever used. This is awful. It is lifted, like there is no product here at all. It's all patchy here. Like, I'm gonna get really nice and scarily uncomfortably close for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Like, what is this? And here, and here. And again, ignore my beard, but like here, like there is just no product. It is all patchy and just, it feels awful. Like, it actually feels awful on my skin. I don't like this at all. That was probably seven to 8 pumps of foundation wear. Like, obviously I haven't put anything on my eyelids, but even just using the leftover on my sponge, like, I honestly don't understand what's going on. Okay, so I am not quite prepared to give up on it yet. I'm going to give this a fair shot so no one can say that I didn't. My face is just itchy. Oh, it's like, look at that. What is that? Ugh. Okay, so I have got 2 more application options, right? I have got one of the Aoa Studio Brushes. I did a review of this on my blog. I love these brushes. And I've also got the My Makeup brush set, which is one of those like rip-offs, the Artiste brushes. I really like both of these to apply foundation. So I'm going to give this another go and see what I can do. So I've just added another 2 pumps to this. Something is definitely happening. Jesus. It is very streaky. And that is the texture that we are now working with. Going to go ahead and apply it on the other side, but only 1 pump on the flat brush. It's just wiping off now. Okay, all right. Okay, I can't do this anymore. My skin feels awful and I now look like a train wreck. So I'm going to go wipe all of this off and I will come back with a fresh layer of the primer on and I will give the BB cream a go instead, because this is going to horrify children. Okay, I am back. That was not an ideal start to the video. So instead we will go ahead and try the BB cream. So it is called the Sheer Glow BB cream. I got mine in the shade 02 Soft Sand. And this BB cream claims to have a natural skin finish, lightweight, silicone free, SPF 8 protection enriched with moisturizers and native Australian ingredients. So it's a light coverage to even out skin tone, minimize the appearance of fine lines and imperfections for a natural luminous finish. Right, let's give that a go. That is what the packaging looks like, same as the primer. So this one is much darker than the foundation shade. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead with my blender again. So it is a light coverage, which is fine, but like literally nothing. And yes, that is a different sponge, but literally nothing. Okie dokie then. Okay, so I'm not going to wipe all of that off again and start for a third time. Instead, I might just very quickly change tactic. I will put on concealer. I don't have any other cream products, I believe. I will put on some concealer, and then I will put on the Natural Mineral Cover Foundation, which is a foundation that I have already tried and used in the past, and I really love it, so hopefully it can actually save this hot mess. So the problem is that I've got some creamy products that are going to go over the top of a powdered foundation. We're just gonna live life on the wild side right now. But to start off with, I am going to conceal. So the concealer is called the Flawless Concealer, and it obviously is a partner to the Flawless Foundation. Let's hope it performs better than the Flawless Foundation. So it is just a little stick concealer, and looks like that. So I am going to run this underneath my eyes and anywhere else, like little pimple there and like here sort of thing, and let that sink in for a couple of minutes. I've been really enjoying letting my concealer sit, like sort of set, before I actually blend it in, and I find you just get a much better coverage out of the concealer, and it just sits nicer on the skin. Okay, so the colour, sorry, I didn't tell you the shade. I got this one in 02 Porcelain Beige, which is, yeah, a different shade to the concealer, to the foundation. So the concealer is not as creamy as I would like it to be. It is tugging a little bit on my skin. And this side had none of the BB cream on it, so this only has primer here, but it is tugging a little bit. That could just be because it's a new stick, so it just needs to sort of warm up, but we'll just leave that there. I'll just do a bit of like spot concealing, especially since I won't be using a liquid foundation. So I'm just going to gently pat it in. Okay. And I'm going to use it as a eyelid base as well. Okay, this is so far going much better than the foundation or the BB cream. Probably would not refer to that as a full coverage concealer. To me it's a like medium. It's not It's not terrible. It does blend out, so it's creamy enough to blend out, but it's not full coverage. I can still see like darkness here and like some redness poking through here, so it is certainly not full coverage. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to put on a second layer and let it sit for a tiny bit longer now that the product has warmed up on my face and it's not a brand new stick. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit more. See, it's still tugging and I'm not putting a lot of pressure there. It's still wanting to tug. I'm just going to add a little bit more and just sort of let that chill for a second. So the concealer isn't half bad. I don't mind it. But as I said, I certainly wouldn't call that a full coverage concealer by any means. Stretch of the imagination. Now, just while that sets, as I said, I am now going to go over it with the Natural Mineral cover, which is, I believe, one of the first products they ever released, like the brand itself ever released. So this is what it actually looks like. So you get a tub of powder. This is in the shade Light Skin Tones. Really helpful. And essentially you just have a little sifter that you can open and close to get the product out. I actually prefer to pull out the sifter and get the product straight out of the container, because when it's new, all of the powder is so compact that you actually can't shake it out of the sifter. So I just open it up and dip my brush in that way. So obviously before I add the powder, I'm just going to rub in that concealer. So that is covering those dark circles a bit better, but I still would not call this a full coverage concealer by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I probably could have used this flat top brush for the powder, but because I did use it with the foundation, it still has foundation in it, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to use an e.l.f. powder brush. As you can see, it's dirty and I love it. And look at that. And I just find I find this brush works really, really well with powder foundations. So it's just a flat top kabuki. And essentially all I do, just dab it into the powder. You get a lot of product, like that's a lot. So I just tap it back into the container, otherwise it just is going to go all over your face and body where you don't want it to be. So just tap off a good part of the excess. Now I'm wearing a white shirt, so for this foundation, not a great idea, but you can't see my shirt anyway, so that's fine. So with the product there's still a lot on there, but I then will dab it on, like, and you can see how much product there is. So I'll dab it on first, and then I will go around and actually buff it in. To me, in the monitor, I look really quite yellow, like almost a Simpson yellow. In real life, I don't. Like in real life now, me looking down in a mirror, and every other day that I've worn this foundation, it just looks like a good match for my skin tone. So like I said, I think it might just be the lighting. Also, my skin is extremely red now and irritated because I've been having to wipe a lot of crap off it. But that is what the powdered foundation looks like over the skin. And I will come close so you can see my moustache. But also, you can just see how it sits. Like, ignore my nose here because that was already fucked up from before. But it does just sit really nicely on the skin, and close up in real life it just looks really nice, and it does add coverage, and it does stay on my face, and it does stay on my face all day. So I think I'm a little bit heartbroken about how that base has gone. Now, one thing that did not come in the kit is something for your eyebrows. So I'm just going to very quickly fill them in off camera, and then I'll be back in a second.